champion Darren McCarty and the golden voice of Neal Ruhl. Sit back and relax. It's time for your daily dose of Big D energy.
Yo, welcome back, everybody. Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Ruhl. That guy over there is D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We got Sam Flannel. We got Spencer Raxter. We are locked. We are loaded. We are ready to go. The NCAA tournament starts today. It's an unofficial holiday for a lot of folks out there. D-Mac, this used to be my day, man. I mean, I'm talking 12 hours. Wall to wall.
Dialed in.
Oh, locked in.
Right there.
Locked
Not today?
in, man. Yeah.
You out of it? Is it over?
We're going to talk about that because I'm getting a sense from a lot of the folks, internally, externally, everywhere. It ain't hitting the same this year, and I think I know why. Is it because that it's so up in the air, or maybe because people have viewed college basketball as maybe down? Right? Is it that? It's probably like everything else. Those are all contributing factors, I think. I think the NFL has had a huge impact, especially on the NCAA tournament this year. And I don't like. It's always been like this, right? Like this has always been like the league new year and everything like that. But it's just, for me, I don't feel the juice. What about Spenny? You feel the juice this year?
No.
I don't either.
Not really.
And you guys are basketball guys,
Yeah.
so don't go to me, right? I'm a physical contact sport guy.
We know why Sam Flannel's not. Well, Sam Flannel's into it.
He's dialed in.
He's locked into the NIT.
He's got the Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, have we confirmed?
Of NIT rocking and rolling, and Hunter Dickinson.
When is the next NIT game? Do we even know? Have they scheduled it?
I believe it's Saturday.
Saturday?
At Vanderbilt, at Nashville.
He believes it's Saturday. You know when it is. Dialed in.
But you guys are absolutely right, if we're just being honest. The tournament really doesn't hit the same for me. A lot of it has to do with the fact that I was used to the John Beilein era where Michigan made a couple of big runs to the national championship game. But even, I was like you, Neal. Back in the day, it was just the first couple days were just magic and electricity. And today, I mean, I'm going to be working this show and then doing Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, and I don't really even care.
Look at that.
But the point is, I don't even care that I'm going to miss those games. It doesn't really mean a whole lot to me, unfortunately.
I bet you they'll have water.
I bet you they will, too.
With lemon.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Detroit Dabber drops the good morning in there. Good morning. Dos Burrito says, Jamaal, R.I.P. We'll discuss. I have some thoughts. I got some tweets from some of you. Some of the mainstays in our Big D Energy posse, if you will, that sent me some tweets on social media. We'll discuss that coming up at about 11:14 because I have some strong thoughts on it. As you know, I touched on it yesterday, and it's time to break it down a little bit further for those that are still maybe living in denial. I'm getting tweets, D-Mac. Well, can they still sign Jamaal? No, that ship has sailed. It's over. He signed with the Saints, but even before that, it wasn't happening. And I suspect that this can be very, very simply boiled down, and I will at 11:14.
No, that's important. Obviously, it's part of growth. We talk about it all the time. Is that as your teams get better, you're going to lose players that you've had, no matter what sport it is. And I think this one just hits a little bit deeper because everybody could see that he was all in, with the organization. So I saw a couple things on Twitter also saying thank you for your service and what you meant here. And that's cool. Detroit, right, exactly. Coming on by, you give everything you got, and Detroit fans appreciate it. So good luck to you in New Orleans.
Absolutely. So Sam Flannel on the final word today, getting that shine. The final word's a stage that most broadcasters, it's a lot like calling a Super Bowl or calling the NCAA tournament or calling a World Series. If you're a broadcaster and you get the call, or you work in broadcast, you get the call to be on the final word. That's big, Sam Flannel. I can't hate that. It's a stage that you can't obtain on your own.
It's funny, too, because both me, you, Neal, and Spencer, we have all hosted the final word at one point in time. So we're I know I love Big D energy, but sometimes it does feel like AAA, and the final word is the majors. I mean, we all feel it. We all feel it every time we're there.
100%, because you can only reach an audience on there that you cannot reach in mainstream, just your regular run-of-the-mill broad. It is the top of the world, D-Mac. You wouldn't know.
No, I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. I just want you to know.
I wouldn't know.
You've lifted 4 Stanley Cups.
Room
You've lifted 4
around.
Stanley Cups, but you've never been on the final word.
Absolutely.
And how many cups would you trade to be on it?
I understand why, because I did the show with Maz for a year, and I watched you on the final word and understood that I would have blew my gasket. I think it's the chair. It's this chair
D-Mac.
that makes you lose your mind, not Maz. Maz, I'm sticking up for you.
How many
cups?
You
guys do you.
How many cups would you trade to be on the final word? 2? 2 or your first one? Which one?
My support cup.
They let you bring that on the airplanes?
My athletic cup?
No, your support cup.
Oh, my support cup.
I thought you were talking about a support Stanley Cup.
No, I was talking about my jock strap.
The athletic cup.
Yeah,
exactly.
the athletic supporter
That's what the
cup.
bottom line can get.
All right, there it is.
You know what? Hey, aspirations, but you guys, but you guys are media darlings. This is what you do.
The math.
I'm an athlete.
Yeah, the
right?
math.
Or a former athlete. I'm more concerned, about the plants and the flowers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
the math suggests like one of us 3 that have been on there are going to wash out in the business. That's
true.
The math.
That is true.
And one of us will be looked back on as a cautionary tale that had it all.
Yeah. Made it to the big time.
And pissed it away.
And didn't do anything
can I
with
just
it.
offer some advice? Be very careful, legend killer. You might not get treated the same way as your legend killing on that show as you do on this show.
That is very true.
That is very true. That's all. See, I can offer that, Neal.
Sage advice.
As support as you go up, but be you.
Right.
Be you. It'd be great. Hey, now we're talking about, personal, but we need some clips, so feel free to do it. I got your back.
Absolutely.
I got your back, Sam, when you go up. Not when you trash Ben Wallace. I even got you when you trash me. That don't matter. But if you go up there, I'll support you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Exactly.
But there is a lot of line stuff to get to. Certainly we will. We are going to talk about the Jamaal Williams things. I'll have my thoughts at 11:14. We will discuss the Jalen Carter situation as well. Well played by Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Very well played.
Very well played.
Some people talk about it. Some people be about it. He wants to be available for the Detroit Lions.
That's true.
And he'll do whatever it takes. And I'm here for it. I love it. Speaking of Jalen Carter, there is some breaking news that Spenmo sent over. Jalen Carter has entered a plea deal with the Athens Clark County solicitors per his lawyer. Carter's pled no contest and will receive 12 months probation, pay a $1,000 fine, perform 80 hours of community service, and finish a driving course. Carter will receive no jail time. So there's that. That's done. That's over. Which, well played. Which we suspected was going to be the outcome, and that's what it is. So when we talk Jalen Carter coming up at 11:28, we'll bring it up. But you talked about bringing stuff on the airplane. I saw this story, and it was wild to me. The LA Clippers team charter plane was struck by lightning on its way to Denver on February 25th. The plane landed safely in Colorado after dropping in altitude, quote, several times. Members of the team said the lightning strike left a mark on the tail of the plane. And a lot of the Clippers staffers said they have never been through an ordeal like that before. So it made me think about you, D-Mac, because you and I, obviously you work in this profession. You're going to travel a lot by airplane. I have a couple of stories. What about you, D-Mac? You got one. You got a good one.
You want me to go first with the best one?
Yes, give me the best one.
So the best one was we're flying in, and this has to be, I think it's 90... It's got to be 98 or 99. We're flying from LA. We got a game the next night in Vancouver, back to back. So we're leaving LA, and for whatever reason, we're just cruising along. Boom, the right engine goes out. Right where you hear it pop. Now I sit at the back right. I was at the back right of the plane, right, and you hear it boom. The thing go out, and you don't really know. And it sort of settles, right, and it kicks back on, and then the other one kicks off, right, right. So the boys are a little bit the boys are starting to panic a little bit, like what's going on. The captain comes on and says we're having, everybody get down. Here's the thing, Neal. Every ounce of booze on that flight was in somebody, like guys
Immediately
are just
drank?
pounding beers and wine and whatever like this. I sat across from Aaron Ward. He was a little upset, so I was holding his hand. So that's what you do for friends. And my mentality was, and at one point both the engines went out, right? So you're like sore, right? So it was skeptical. Anyways, we have to emergency land in Sacramento. And when I tell you, if you've seen Die Hard 2, with all the paramedics and all the ambulances and everything on the runway, that's what it looked like when we came in and landed. Pilots did an unbelievable job. Guys were hammered. I mean, hammered. Like, seriously, like, all there was probably, think about this, in a 30-minute span that this happened, that there was as much booze that I remember when we got off the plane after winning a Stanley Cup. Like, couple guys didn't like flying and stuff like this, but and my attitude was, well, I didn't think it was going to go out like this. That was my thing. I was more worried about everybody else, but it was like, if this is it, this is it. So that really happened.
Yeah, we never had any of that, D-Mac. We had the old the 6-second drop before we were flying back, I think from Illinois, and we're on a smaller charter plane, like a 30-seater charter plane. And there was a little bit of turbulence, like when we got up in the air, and then we're going for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it starts rocking, and we get the 6-second drop. And my friend that sits next to me on the plane, he didn't have a seatbelt on at the time because he was getting up to go to the bathroom, hit his head on the ceiling of I look over at him, and his head hits the ceiling of the airplane. A 6-second drop, which again doesn't seem like a lot of time until you're dropping for 6 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was white knuckle the rest of the way. For the rest of that season, it was like that. We were coming back one time from Ohio State, as a matter of Columbus, really short flight, and we're just flying along, everything's fine, and then you just hear a boom, like you hit a speed bump in midair, and then everything was fine again. It was wild. So, WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Rack says, well, D-Mac, planes in the late 1900s were pretty dangerous back then.
Yeah, there you go. Even the private planes.
The late 1900s.
And by the way, I was sober then, so I wasn't part of any of the libations. And yes, we won the next night. We didn't take the plane. We chartered a plane the next day. But we did end up winning, I believe.
Yeah, Dos Burrito says, keep that seatbelt on. Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm salty. Never been on a plane for that reason. Well, I'll say it like this, and right, like it's a cliche, but it's true. Think of all the near accidents and stuff you've had happen to you in a car.
Oh, yeah.
Versus, how many that happened in an airplane. It's real. Like, that's real.
The craziest thing that happened to me in a plane was I was coming back from California like 2 years ago, and it was a snowstorm in Detroit that we flew in. Like, there was like 12 inches of snow on the ground, and we were flying. I was looking out the window, couldn't see anything, just snow coming down. The captain didn't tell us where we were or that we were landing or descending or anything, and we just hit the runway. Everybody was like, wow. But we made it. He got through it. It was pretty cool, but it was scary.
Pilots are wild, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like that, I would never want that job. I love I love doing television, and I'm the voice, right? And it's all on me. The whole production's on me. Like, I love that. That stops at being a pilot.
Yeah.
I want no part of that.
My cousin's husband is a pilot. Yeah,
You got quite a family, man.
Yeah.
Doctors and
Which
pilots.
side? My mom's side.
Okay,
Yeah.
see, it's not just the Racksters.
Yeah.
No.
But Neal, to the point about flying, and as much as you fly and as much as I flew back in the day, it was just like driving. So, I mean, statistics prove it, but you don't want that to happen.
Yeah, that is wild, though. The lightning strikes a Clippers team plane. When we come back, we're going to do Jamaal Williams, and we have some viewers' tweets that we'll get to as well. And I'll kind of break this thing down for you. It's very simple. It's not going to take very long to do it. The sports marketing agency, they spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. They have a new podcast out called This is the S Word. Helps fight the stigma associated with seeking help. If you're struggling or someone you know is struggling, go to thesportsma.com. Thesportsma.com. They're here to help.
Oh yeah, Woodwardsports.com, Home Bracket Challenge, Gardner White, you heard about it too? Be on the way like me, Lazy Boy section. It's this way. It's almost tournament time, so you know what that means. Go to woodwardsports.com. Sign up now for the bracket challenge, because you might be able to win some of these lazy boys or $1,000. You never know. I'm just saying. See you there. Gardner White, the only local Michigan furniture store. You got to come check them out. Lazy boy, that's my section.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. We are off and running. Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxt. If you're new to the show, subscribe to the podcast. You can listen to it anytime you want. Rewind, fast forward. I had some thoughts yesterday about Brad Holmes, about the 11-14 mark. You can go back and listen to that as well. Don't forget, too, you got about 40 minutes left. WoodwardSportsBracket.com. Why would you not do this, folks? $1,000 first prize, 2 lazy boys.
That's
if you
what
win
I'm
this
doing
thing.
right now.
D-Mac's doing it now, as a matter of fact. Woodward
I got
Sports.
all my info in from all my scouts and stuff, so I'm going over my final board.
Yep, WoodwardSportsBracket.com. Jump in there. Hurry. It's a free spin at $1,000 and a couple of lazy boys. $500 in a lazy boy as well for second, and a lazy boy chair for third. Courtesy of the good folks at Gardner White. They are Detroit Furniture Institution. A guy that became a Detroit institution is relocating as Jamaal Williams signs a 3-year, $12 million contract with the New Orleans Saints. And I have some thoughts and got some tweets, obviously, as we always do when stuff pops off here. One of the show pillars, Alicia, sent me a tweet yesterday and said, Neal, can you please explain why the Lions couldn't or wouldn't match this? I don't understand it. And that is the 3-year for $12 million deal from the Saints for $8 million fully guaranteed. And Alicia, obviously, have a lot of respect for you. You're one of the pillars of the Big D Energy sports community. This is not directed at you, the person, you personally. Here's the deal, Alicia, and my sister was shaken up as well in the same way. Here's the deal, everybody, and this hurts to hear. Brad Holmes got a better football player. There's no hidden meaning to it. There isn't why wouldn't the Lions match it, any of that. The Detroit Lions are a better football team with David Montgomery than they are with Jamaal Williams. The metrics bear that out. The versatility of Montgomery's game bears that out. All the different skill set that Montgomery has bears that out. And let me tell you something else. All those 1- and 2-yard touchdowns, which constitute over half of the Jamaal Williams touchdowns last year, David Montgomery's running those into, everybody. He is. Maybe at a more efficient clip. Here it is, one more time. The Detroit Lions simply just went and got a better football player. That's it. That's all. This isn't about feelings. It's about winning football.
If you're worried about if you're not familiar with David Montgomery, he runs similar to Jamaal Williams as far as angry, right? He breaks tackles in the backfield. He's a guy that runs hard. He's a guy that runs at you, sort of downhill. So it is definitely an upgrade, and that's what this team has done. Especially you look through the free agency and you look through as all the dust settles. Oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to New York Jets now, finally. Right? You got your wish, Neal. Can't wait for that first press conference.
You know what's funny about that is the leverage goes back and forth. We'll touch on that in the second hour. We will. We'll touch on that in the second hour. We'll do as the Rodgers turns. A lot of interesting
things, but the bottom line is what you said about Brad Holmes is that improving this roster or bringing back guys that make sense in this roster, right? And we look at Buggs, you look at Kaminsky, you look at Anzalone. You know, Anzalone, we understand the why and surrounding him. So Montgomery on the front end has made makes better. He can pick up now as far as like he's a guy that can be every down. We don't have to count on Swift being healthy, but when Swift is healthy, you think that Ben Johnson with another year of cooking. Remember that quote that came out earlier? Oh, if last year was, first year math, this is algebra and calculus now. Man, they're cooking. And then they got a Pro Bowler that they can cook with at a great price. So,
that's it. That's all.
Part of winning.
Again, it just goes back to it. There was a better option available. Does he watch anime? I don't know. Will he have like fiery speeches on Hard Knocks? No, because the Lions won't be on Hard Knocks this year. Will he cry in the postgame? I don't know. I don't care. Go score touchdowns, man, which he will, especially behind this offensive line. Can we look, everybody that's still upset about it, can we at least agree? Can we at least agree on this, that the Lions' offensive line is a top 5 unit in football? Can we agree?
Yes.
Wow, that was quick. I didn't even have to make eye contact with you. You volunteered that one. Can we agree on that, D-Mac?
Well, you know what the beauty was?
Yes.
Is they told us it was last year, and then they went out and proved it, right? They told us that we had it, that was the asset, the biggest strength on our team, and what did we go out and prove? That it was, right? Like, that's the whole thing. It's not the smoke and mirrors of, this is what's expected, and then, boom, we fall flat because we're the Lions. No, this is what's been built around. This is what's been preached. Offensive line pushing. What did you say yesterday? We got guys that are pushing this way, and we got guys that are pushing this way. It's setting up. I mean, it's interesting. And then I can't emphasize enough, your GM isn't even in his wheelhouse yet. That's the draft. That's where he will. So if you've given him, if you're going to grade, right? If you're going to grade Brad Holmes through free agency and what the Lions have done, you have to give him a B+, I would think, at the worst, right? Because you've improved. Now we see him cook at the draft. All this, the news coming out around it. You see the legal issues have been handled as far as Jalen Carter goes. So there's no reason that you aren't going to continue to improve this team. IT
Hips, WoodwardSports.com chat thread. 100% agree, Neal. Don't forget the way Montgomery's contract is structured as well. Dustin Mullins, I haven't seen you here before. Appreciate you jumping in to the show. Dustin says, biggest difference, Montgomery can catch the football and run tough. And Dustin, don't forget, too, he can block. Like, he's an above-average blocker also, which, we all like that little play-action game, right? We think that's going to be a little bit of the code. Maybe some deep tosses to Jamison Williams. He's a dude.
He's a dude, man. Like, he's like, you want to say, like, people who aren't familiar with him, and we've mentioned this yesterday because we all have him on our fantasy team, so we know how valuable he is, but he's more like a poor man's Derrick Henry.
That's a great way to put it. You know
what I'm saying? Like, he can drag guys, and he runs hard. And then now, obviously, playing that way, durability is an issue. Right? So we'll see. But at the price that we got him with what we're doing and where we've built this team, he's just another asset. Look, it makes Jared Goff immediately better. Right? Better player in the backfield that can cover and play all 3 downs and have his back makes him better. It's all playing out the way that you want. And unfortunately, there's casualties, and it's some of our players that we like or have come accustomed to leave.
This happened to you during the path of the Red Wings, I'm sure. As you acquire talent, as you acquire big-time players, trades were made. I'm sure you didn't like every single guy that left, but the bottom line is that's how it works. You want to win, this is how it works.
Yeah, and you had to realize that, and you realized it as you went along, too. Even, it was tough. Obviously, the Paul Coffey, Keith Primo for Brendan Shanahan was exciting, but, and something to be made. But it was also, too, is losing Dino, who was a big part of a lot of myself and Drapes and Ozzy, and as to this day, but part of our maturation that wasn't there. You look at Mike Vernon, what part he played, and then he was shipped off. Like, so guys came in, came out. You won with guys, and then they moved on. I eventually moved on and came back. So it's all part of trying to be consistent and get this win. Now, it's different when you haven't got there, right? So there's still, with all of us, with the Lions, it's still the unknown, right? At least when you get there and you know what it takes, you can understand why the pieces are being put together.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Here's a good one, too. Alex Haggerty, and I shared the sentiment yesterday. The mentality's changed with the Lions. It's always been, please come play for us. Brad Holmes is changing the team and changing the free agent dynamic as well. Rack says it was a business decision. Nothing more, nothing less. It's about business, man. It's always about business. Jason Moose says Williams would have been a solid backup. Jason, not at that money, man. Not at that money. DeAndre Swift is your backup for, what, $2 million? Might even be a little less than that. I can't remember off the top of my head. If we want specifics, because I'm sure somebody will, $2.7 million, my bad. So that's it, with no liability. Swift, hey, you got to go to the spokesman Rick Ross on this one about DeAndre Swift, because the time has come right now. If DeAndre Swift wants to stay, he's got to show us.
Show us.
That's it. That's still a great one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all time.
We got to get Rose on the show sometime.
Oh my
man.
God, that would be awesome.
We do. You're deep in the streets, Memo. You could probably make that work.
Yeah.
I think that you can
Pull some strings.
But that's where it is, man. I have zero problem with it. They just went and got a better football player. That's it. That's all. I understand that hurts. But this is part of it. You want to go do some stuff you've never done? You got to go do some stuff you've never done. And that's what the Lions are doing. You can jump into the conversation on the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. And Jason Moose says, Neal, I didn't know Swift was making $2 million. My bad. Yeah, he's on the last year of that rookie contract. So I still think you're going to see DeAndre Swift be big this year, especially in the passing game.
Well, I think can be big too because he can be healthy. Because he doesn't have to take those hits. Giving those to Montgomery or who's the third back? Jefferson? Yeah.
Craig Reynolds.
Oh, Craig. See, we got Craig.
Yeah,
we got
Craig.
Netflix.
Come on,
Craig.
Craig.
Come on, Craig. No, but he runs hard, and you know what? He plays that role of blocking and everything like that. So, yeah, it's getting exciting. Because here's the bottom line, Neal. Obviously, it's and whoever said it was the fact that the Detroit Lions used to be, oh, please come play for us. Please come play for us. That's not the case now, and it's not the case that you're overpaying, right? Did he overpay at all?
It's about where it slots.
Right, about where it slots, and that's all you can ask, and you know that your guy's doing work. So I can't emphasize enough. He just set himself up even more for the draft.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. J. Will Fan says Neal, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are making Big D moves. Yeah, they are. Isn't this what we asked for? For real. Weren't we tired of spinning the wheels all the time? I know I was. All I wanted was somebody that could come in here and, draft a good player. It's a wild request, I know. But finally they got that. And then above that, I wanted somebody that was going to come in here and make moves, do stuff. He did it. For all the goodwill amongst men at the close of that Lions season, second half of Lions season, people were hyped, man. Now, the hole was too big to dig out of. There is nothing to suggest that you should be down in any way on where you were when they walked off the field in Green Bay.
And you're
right?
not. And you're not.
Right.
Your team's better. You've improved your team. You've signed 2 cornerbacks, right? You signed a running back, a legit running back that can be effective to help out, because it not only helps out with what he can do, it's what he brings for the rest of the team, like we just mentioned with Swift. I mean, and these guys getting in and getting acclimated, and a Ben Johnson with another year under his belt, another confidence. I mean, how can this offense not cook more? Now, the last question, or the final question, right, is what are you going to do for that other receiver, right? Are you looking, obviously with DJ Chark or whoever else? But there's questions to be answered. But the biggest questions were answered. We're all sitting here, cornerback.
Boom, you got 2.
Right, boom,
you got 2 of them.
Don't worry about me drafting one early.
When it comes to a haircut, there are no questions that need to be answered.
Absolutely no questions. And if you like, free money and stuff like this, there's also absolutely no questions. It's Lady Jane's, you know that. Come to Lady Jane's for award-winning haircut experience, and you can register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home. How does $200,000? Yes, $200K. How does that sound? All you have to do is walk into Lady Jane's Register. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal, Ruhl, Darren, McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter here with you. You guys got about 20 minutes. WoodwardSportsBracket.com. $1,000, 2 Lazy Boy chairs, courtesy of the good folks at Gardner White if you win. It's a free spin. WoodwardSportsBracket.com. Fill out a bracket. We'll go through ours because the NCAA tournament starts today. And we're going to get into it in the second hour after we talk about Jalen Carter, though. So, again, WoodwardSportsBracket.com. Get there now. Get in there. Free spin at $1,000. If you can beat me or D-Mac or somebody like that, we'll see. We'll see if you can do it. Jalen Carter, let's get to it. Everyone was a pit bull on the chain about it. Let's do it. It's time to draw some lines in the sand, I feel like, right now. Mm-hmm. It's time to double down. And we'll do what I always do when we have these discussions, because everything breaks after we go off the air, right before the heavyweights go on the air. Lucky for us, we have one half of the Woodward heavyweights here with us. Spencer Raxter, 5 to 7, Woodward heavyweights. Spenny, the initial reaction from the people on the Jalen Carter, who allegedly showed up 9 pounds heavier to pro day, kind of tapped out of the drills a little bit as he was going. Where were the people at?
They were not happy. But, yeah, I guess he showed up 9 pounds heavier, was cramping up, breathing heavy, didn't finish his drills. People were not happy, saying, don't draft him, he's going to be a bust. I'd rather have Tyree Wilson. Get him out of here. He's falling, blah, 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 stuff like that. I was like, I'm still drafting him.
Here's the deal. Let's just lay this out in stone because I see this right now. Stop drooling in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Jalen Carter had 6 sacks in total in his 3 years at Georgia. I'll pass on that, thanks. If he were an edge, I would agree with, people, can we understand what this is? First and foremost, before you can run that stuff in the chat and all that kind of stuff, can we understand what we're looking at?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
If you drafted Jalen Carter to your defense, right, what would his responsibility be?
Defensive lineman.
Which means, right, his responsibility would be
to push people that way.
And to clog up the middle to allow your edges in the Hutchinsons and Houstons to get loose on single coverage, right?
Yeah.
To maybe take the double team, to clog the middle. A lot to what Isaiah Buggs does, right?
He has the ability to get to the quarterback.
With the ability to get to the quarterback, but it gives you that front grader. What did we talk about last year? Now, Jordan Davis, was it the Philadelphia?
Yeah. He's more that than he is Tyree Wilson or Aiden Hutchinson.
That's what I'm saying.
He's like a
no,
cross of those two.
Didn't we have these questions about Jordan Davis? A lot of us thought when Brad Holmes moved up to take Jameson Williams that we were going after Jordan Davis. Who's that guy in Philadelphia? Now, that guy in Philadelphia who plays, 30% of the plays because of such issues as we saw, maybe shape, maybe endurance, stuff like this. But look what it got them. So is it sort of worth it? Do you think that he could improve here? Do you think that it's one of those things that because of everything around him with all the court cases and that this is a product of that.
And yes, and we're gonna get into that, guys. We're gonna get into that. I just want it. I want it out there what we're talking about here, so we can stop this stuff. And the bottom line, Spenny just dropped it on this. Would you take Jalen Carter at 6? WoodwardSports.com chat poll right now. Let's set it. It's time. Show your cards, everybody. Show your cards. Where are we at with it?
Is this not the guy? We're not talking about Jalen Carter, right? Like we talk about Cam Hayward in Pittsburgh, or like a guy in the middle of your defense that's going to be there for 6-7 years, right? That just clogs it up and is sort of like the linchpin behind it, right? If you put another guy there with the McNeal, the Bugs, then you go to the outside with the Houstons and the Hutchinsons and whatever else you're going to draft. So, it's a no-brainer to me. I, as a professional and as have been in, I'm not the legal trouble, but we'll say lifestyle and the rehabs and the different stuff like that. So not coming out or taking care of different things, Neal. So sometimes when your priorities are different, and I'm sure his priorities, and I'm sure he's a guy that's got to stay on top of his weight. He's a big guy. But I think that this is more of a bad timing, and maybe it's great timing for the Lions.
Here's this. Michael Lucha says, I'm not taking him. Pass. What else we have on here? David Pauler says, Dan Campbell said, no turds. Carter is just that. Dad with Tourette says, it's about him not finishing his drills. He was so out of shape on his pro day that he could not finish the drills. It has little to do with the 9 pounds now as it is work ethic. Well, I would say this, Dad with Tourette. What about this? It would have been very easy for him to tap out on the workouts, right? Is that fair? Mm-hmm. I probably would have. Because who knew what shape he was in more than him?
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, can I just say this? Can we just put it out there? That maybe you got to give him a little bit of credit for doing the workouts when he wasn't at his best, because I wouldn't have. I would say, Sam Flannel, you can crinkle that nose all you want. He didn't need to.
He's one of these guys that if you look at it, he didn't need to, but to that, I see what you're saying, Neal, as far as you read into it, that this guy's going to do everything he can. Now, he wasn't prepared. I can look at the why. There was reasons to that, but as easily when somebody's projected top 10, they don't really have to do anything, do they? Right? Like if he didn't do it, so do you think, I guess the question is, do you think that it hurt him yesterday by his performance at the pro day? Do you think that hurt where he's going to go in the draft?
I think it puts more pressures on his interviews. You know what I'm saying? So
do you think that if you're Brad Holmes, does this bring up a red flag to you? Or would you have been ahead of this already and sort of known this is going to happen? This might be a case, and you're not worried about that, because the only thing that you'd affect, right, is in the draft is if you think Seattle's going to take them in front of you, does it deter them more, right? Because when it comes down to you, this should have no relevance if you were going to take this player. If you have
and
the
don't get me
full
wrong,
belief.
D-Mac, I'm not saying it has no relevance. I'm saying I know what I saw on tape. Like plug that tape in there. And that man was a game wrecker, dude. He was the best defensive player in college football in the best conference in college football. All apologies to the Big Ten.
Right. And so do you think that, being the national champion and being a little slack on your workouts and not being prepared and going through, the legal issues that he had to go through up until this point had a factor on this? I do.
Yeah. Well, and somebody asked here too. Tony says, how does someone put on 9 pounds in the span of a few weeks? I could do that right now in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, that's easy.
100%.
Yeah.
I could put on 3 pounds today watching D-Mac eat what he eats for breakfast.
He could be stressed out to whatever else.
No doubt.
And I think you brought up a great point, right? Here's the one thing, guys. Here's the whole thing, right? In Holmes, do we trust? So the fact is that if he picks Carter, then you know that all the due diligence and character and bringing him into Allen Park and stuff like that in the organization, all that due diligence is done. If they don't, or when they see the opportunity to, then it was a red flag for your organization.
And real quick, while we're in the meat of it, Spenmo, can you throw up the tweet again about there is some resolution with his criminal charges now? Mm-hmm. So just so we can go there, because I do want to put this back out there for everyone since we're talking about it. This morning, Jalen Carter entered a deal with the Athens-Clarke County solicitors per his lawyer. Carter has pled no contest and will receive 12 months probation, pay a $1,000 fine, perform 80 hours of community service, and finish a driving course. That comes from Seth Emerson on Twitter. Carter will receive no jail time. So that's done. So, like, the red flag people, that's over. And look, I'm not saying I 1,000% ignore it. And Dos Burrito on here says you're a Jalen apologist. I saw what I saw, man. I saw it on the tape. It's like the Reggie Bush Heisman. I saw him that year. Mm-hmm. He was the best player in college. You can take the Heisman away all you want. He's still the best player that year. I saw what I saw, man. And this particular player at this position is what fits the Lions best right now. And I'll go back to it. Let me hit the reset button, guys. You're the betting favorite to win the division, which means you host playoff games, which means you think you can get to a Super Bowl, and he is the perfect fit for what this team needs defensively. Can we argue that? Can we argue that around the room?
No,
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I'm 100% on board with you. I don't think that you're an apologist or anything like that, because the tape doesn't lie. The tape doesn't lie. And you got a guy in there where that takes on 2 and 3 blockers that makes the guys around you better. You know what? You want to know what makes Alex Anzalone better? Jalen Carter, right? Look at the Georgia linebackers, and that's college, and I'm not even talking pro. But the pressure that a guy like this can get, I think the talent's there. I saw the same thing, Neal, that you saw, right? And I don't think that at this point with everything else, it's that big a deal. As long as Brad Holmes gets the okay. Like, if Brad Holmes drafts him, no matter who he drafts, he's checked him off. It's a lot like Steve Yzerman signing Dylan Larkin. He gave his stamp of approval as that's your captain. That's your guy that's going to lead you to the next cup. So Brad Holmes, same thing. So I think you nailed it, Neal, when you said makes the interview process a hell of a lot more valuable, or you know, he better interview well. That's what you're trying to say, right?
100%. Cody Engel says not taking Carter is same old Lions. Bob's Big Boy says I would rather trade up for Anderson than roll the dice on Carter. See, Bob, that's where I stop. I am not in the market of not utilizing my best weapon that I have as a football organization, which is Brad Holmes with an envelope. That is the Detroit Lions' best weapon. I am not in the business of taking that opportunity away from my best player, i.e. my best asset that I have that's available to me to use. That would be like not having Pat Mahomes throw the football. That's it. That's what that is. Literally, that's what that is like for the Lions organization, to take away draft picks from Brad Holmes. Not doing it. I'll go a different route before I give up the opportunity for Brad Holmes to draft players. Cintron, the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. Right now they have an exclusive offer for Woodward Sports fans. The limited edition Red Wings 6-pack sampler box. $15, free shipping right to your door. DrinkCintron.com/Woodward. Again, DrinkCintron.com/Woodward. Why wait? You can try it. The great tasting Crumberry, the classic, and the sugar-free, all in one Red Wings package. Shows up right on your porch with free shipping. $15. If you haven't tried it yet, give it a spin. Premium ingredients, the best energy drink on the market. This isn't some, you know the ones I'm talking about. Loaded up with all that crap. This isn't in that family, fam. It's not. Certainly is not. Drink it. Live it with Cintron.
Hey. You see me enjoying this recliner? A lazy boy recliner, that is? Oh, man. We are trying to hook you up with a couple of these for your home. Woodward Sports Bracket Challenge. And also, maybe $1,000 too. Sound bad, right? Got couch like this, some chips, $1,000, couple lazy boys, huh? Woodward Sports Bracket Challenge, man. Join us today.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization, we serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Neal Ruhl here for Custom Health Centers. Our own Ryan Ermanni has began his journey. He's got a six-pack already. That's how quick Custom Health Centers work. Now we're just playing with you. But he is down over 18 pounds. That's real. That is factual, as we like to say. They have over 20,000 success stories at Custom Health Centers. You can be one too. They've helped many professional athletes, former professional athletes, lose weight. Eddie Murray, Lions place kicker. Rick Mahorn, NBA champion, Pistons bad boy. Rick's down over 50 pounds with Custom Health Centers. You can be next. Call Dr. Jason and Custom Health today, 844-789-THIN. That's 844-789-8446. It's Custom Health Centers. Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Last call, everybody. The last call, woodwardsportsbracket.com. Jump in there. We'll go over some of the picks. NCAA tournament starts in 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, it starts. Get in there. Free spin at $1,000 and a couple lazy boys, courtesy of the people at Gardner White. Props to Gardner White, by the way, man. Throwing a bag at you, Spenny.
Mm-hmm. And some lazy boys.
And some lazy boys. You can lay there in your lazy boy and count your money.
Oh, Neal, by the way, my dad just texted me. He said it is Eddie Belfour, the former NHL goalie. It says
Eddie the
Scott.
Eagles bourbon? Yeah. I've been meaning to try that one.
It says bourbon.
Oh, that's right.
Belfour small batch.
I'm about the small batch life. Small batch, single barrels, man. Yep. I'm on that life. Mr. Raxter, props to you, sir. Thank you. I will give it a spin. Maybe if these people keep up with this Jalen Carter stuff, I might be drinking in about 15 minutes. We'll see. WoodwardSports.com, chat, jump in there. We got the poll right now. Viewership explosive, votes explosive. Would you take Jalen Carter at 6? Right now, yes, 57%, no 53%. So just a tick under 50-50. What's your reaction to that, D-Mac?
No, I mean, that's... People could be skeptical, right? But it comes down to it doesn't matter because in Brad Holmes I trust. That's what I think. I believe that he's the guy for this roster, but we'll find out if there's something deeper than that because Brad Holmes will vet that out, I believe. So whether it is or it's not, whether Seattle or anything like that, I don't put too much stock into it.
Fair.
I put as much attention into it as we're putting into the NCAA tournament.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread, Brandon Katz says, and this is valid. Brandon Katz very polarizing in our chat thread, but this is valid. He said Sue came with the same questions about his character issues that Carter does. It means nothing in the NFL. And I think there's a lot of Jamaal Williams-ish reactions with the Jalen Carter thing. Guys, you got to remember, too, this is a National Football League. Nothing else matters other than Sunday at 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock or Sunday night or Monday, et cetera, et cetera. That is the only thing that matters. That's it. That's all. WoodwardSports.com chat as well. I'm salty. There's been plenty of guys who don't have good pro days that are great NFL players. And that's factual also. But it is. It's pro day season. And... Where are you at with this, Memo? Your team take him, right?
Yes.
He's there at 6, you're taking him.
Why can you not, right, where somebody wants to say, oh, like, if you trust Holmes, it's, everybody says that they trust Holmes or whatever. Here's my fault back. To instead of sitting here going, oh, man, in the past, the character issues and this and that. I don't care because the guy in charge I trust. So I'll revert back to him and go worry about who's going to win in the first game of the NCAA tournament. Do you guys not get it? Like, that's the part in Holmes you trust where you can revert back to, so you don't have to burn your brain cells out on, oh my God, is this the right guy or is this not the right guy? I believe it is. You can disagree with me. That's cool. We're not talking hockey. Can't disagree with him in that one.
D-Map Zoom says, how can I get in the bracket challenge? Go to woodwardsportsbracket.com, D-Map Zoom. Go there right now. Hurry up.
I think here that's a great one. Whoever said it's about due diligence, right? This organization right now does its due diligence. Would you not say, Detroit Lions? Are you confident that they do their due diligence?
Oh, absolutely.
More than ever in the past, right? And the due diligence started with the hiring from the top from Sheila. So, I mean, you got to sit back and all this different stuff's going to come out. Like, how much more stuff's going to come out about somebody else or one of these quarterbacks supposed to go high?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I have full confidence in Brad Holmes that him and his staff have done their due diligence on whoever they draft.
Stephen Baffey says, Sue had questions of discipline on the field, and you know what? That proved out to be true. Did it? Because when I look at it, I see 2 All-Pros, a multiple-time Pro Bowler, and a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, what do you guys...
That's what Sue... those are his character
issues. He's a Hall of Famer. Like, I don't care if he's an asshole. He's a Hall of Famer. Period. Jesus Christ.
That's what it is. Look, those are the stats, man. They do not lie. The rings do not lie. It's all. You know what else doesn't lie? Remember how the Lions got it cooking for a little bit there? That all ended the day he walked out the door.
Yeah, it was because of Ndamukong Suh.
Period in the story. You know how I know? They were good, and then they weren't. When he
I don't think Jalen Carter is Ndamukong Suh, but he's pretty damn good.
To be. Doesn't need to be, but this defense can build towards being better, right? He's a big part of it. But you need that guy. What we're talking about is you need that mean guy on the line down front. What's Terry say? You need the big booty dude in like Buggs, and Carter's one of those big body dudes like McNeil, and then you also need Thor. You got them both, right? Neal, your analogy about we got to be able to push guys into the backfield, and we got to be able to push guys into the defensive backfield. And if we can do that, that's our strength. This guy fits that. And I believe from everything that I've seen, if he's available, that's your guy.
And that's where I am with it. Jason Moose says Jalen Carter was spotted at Burger King. We can't confirm that. We weren't with them. We don't know. People Pleaser says if the Lions pass on Carter, no way the Bears do at 9. You know what?
That's facts.
And that has no impact on my decision if I'm a GM. But Neal, the fan, sitting here going, Christ, please don't let that happen.
Yeah, where do you not want him to go? Out
the Bears.
One team.
If there was one team, I don't want him going to Chicago if we don't take him. And, again, I just go back to the tape, man. I just go back to the tape. Andrew George Bradshaw, Sue was such a bad comparison. Nick Fairley is the comparison. And you know what, Andrew? As somebody who is pro Jalen Carter, I can't kill you on that because that's the vibes you get, right? Remember Nick Fairley? When he played, when he was engaged, it was awesome.
Great.
Sean Rogers.
Both great.
Yeah.
Sue and him, right? Remember the defensive line. So, yeah, that's it. Does he sit in the middle? Does he make your team better? Does he get you to that next level with him in the lineup?
But go back to that time. That is our best time of Lions football, sans the early 90s. Was the Ndamukong Suh, Nick Fairley defense. Remember that? Why were they good? That defense was historically great against the run. Not good, not Lions good. NFL historically good against the run that year. That's what I'm trying to do here, man. I'm pushing you that way.
Yeah, that way.
We from the north. Yeah, that way.
Mm-hmm. I used to trap out the subway.
Again, if you want to go there with the Fairley stuff, okay, I'll vibe with you on that. It is a question. And I know, like, we just spent 30 minutes talking about it, but it is going to boil down to Brad Holmes, kind of like what D-Mac talked about. That is what it's all going to go to, right? I just think the thing that really makes me excited is I still think that there's a real possibility. They'll do their due diligence. It's not off the table, though. And I sent you guys a tweet earlier about pro day season, about Florida State's pro day like 26 years ago or whatever. Randy Moss ran a 4.20 40 during the pro day at Florida State, or the workouts at Florida State. It was the fastest 40 that had ever been run since Deion Sanders at Florida State. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The Lions were never going to take Randy Moss, ever, because of, quote, character concerns. Remember, he got kicked out of Florida State. Let me say that again. He got kicked out of Florida State. I'm almost impressed. You know what it takes to get kicked out of Florida State?
You know anything harder is to get kicked out of Miami?
James,
or Urban Meyer, Florida. Like, you can kill people and play for Urban Meyer's Florida teams.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what? The one thing that came to my mind, though, Neal, is that maybe with this pro day, it's a deterrent to other teams to trade up to get him. Maybe that's the way that it helps the Lions. Just a thought.
Just a thought. That guy's 62. No Sue slander, period. There will be no Ndamukong Suh slander.
Not a chance.
Not when I'm here.
Ndamukong Suh is the most impactful defensive player the Lions have had in my lifetime.
Say that one more time.
Ndamukong Suh is the most impactful defensive player the Detroit Lions have had in my lifetime.
That's fact. That's true.
And I'm hoping Aiden Hutchinson can change that, but, he's got to make a couple All-Pro teams. Ndamukong Suh was All-Pro first team his rookie season. Like, come on.
And then went to Miami and was an All-Pro.
Yeah, I love Ndamukong Suh, man. He's one of my favorite players of all time.
Yep. And people that are mad that he left, that's your organization at work. They let him go. You can always pay more money. You could have. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
but hey, we're not here to talk about that.
But with the Suh, he was isn't this the one? He was never gonna. He was telling everybody that he was gone, that he was leaving the first chance he got. Like, he was never. I understand why the people weren't dialed into Suh, because he wasn't dialed into you, right? You got to be. If you're an athlete in this town and you engage yourself in the community, they will love you back, and you know what? You'll get a little bit of leeway on the field, right? The fact that this guy Ndamukong Suh is the opposite. Right? He is gold jacket. He's that good, but off the field, like, you can't argue about his football acumen other than taking, a selfish personal foul penalties or doing some aggressive things on the field. But that's in the field. You can't argue with the player he was. You can question his scruples as a person, right? I mean, for me, one of the people that, I got no time for, just because I watch him and I've been around him and the way he treats other people. But that's a personal thing. That's a people skill.
And I can confirm that. I've talked to people that have had those experiences with them too.
We're not talking about that. And what Neal means to say, going back to the Randy Moss, are you going to pass up on a talent that can get you to the next level to win just because of something small like that? That's not if it's not past behavior, then that has nothing to do with it, right? If you don't draft him, Brad Holmes will tell you why he didn't draft him, and maybe it was an issue and he wouldn't fit. But other than that, I think we're beyond those days, and you got to accept that they're willing to accept. And I think that when you get around a culture with what they're building, you can insulate in that. The culture at Allen Park when Ndamukong Suh here was not like this. Was not, we hear Kaminsky coming out going, unless you're in the building, you don't understand what a family aspect it is here. They exude that. It's a different locker room now, and I think that now is when you can embrace maybe a guy with questionable scruples. Now we're talking about Jalen Carter. The question is about the accident and all that other stuff, but we don't hear people bad talking the person. We hear his teammates come out and say, like the dude and all that stuff. So, all this goes into it, right? All of it goes into it. But let's differentiate people from performance, from on the field, because that's what we're talking about in Ndamukong Suh, one of the best to do it.
And I'm talking about Cousins' Maine lobster for lunch. That's what I'm talking about.
Definitely should be talking about that. I mean, maybe Jalen Carter shouldn't, but we can talk about it, because Cousins' Maine lobster is where it's at. And, of course, Woodward Sports is brought to you by Cousins' Maine Lobster Detroit. Check out their food trucks rolling around the city, offering the tastiest lobster rolls, lobster tacos, and more. Go to cousinsmainelobster.com to search locations to find the Detroit schedule, or download the app, order ahead, and earn reward points. You can even scan that QR code right there and figure out where they are rolling around the city. Make sure you check out Cousins' Maine Lobster.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, professional technicians who take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. But I need you to call Guardian Alarm today. The number, 1-800-STAY-OUT. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call anytime, day or night. Know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. But I need you to call the number, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Technology backed by people. Yes, real human beings. People. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work, and people have been proven to care no matter what it is. Even the legend killer himself with flannel protection. How many straight days of flannel protection has Guardian Alarm offered you?
234.
234 straight days of flannel protection. Wow. If you got something that you care about as personal or maybe business, Guardian Alarm is there for you, but I need you to give them a call today. 1-800.
Stay out of the Michigan basketball coaching facilities, Juwan Howard.
Stay out of your feelings, NFL free agency moves.
Stay out of the Burger King parking lot, Jalen Carter.
Anyways, Guardian Alarm can help you with all of those. Give them a call today. Your local security expert. South Big D Energy. We sent you.
I like that little bit right there. We should run that every day.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one.
Like Spider-Man. Everybody gets one.
Yeah, I do like that.
And they'll protect it all, right? I'm checking the app. They'll protect the app.
Back at it, second hour of the show. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl. That guy, Darren McCarty. Those guys, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter as well. Happy to have you all with us. Remember, subscribe to the podcast. iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you get your podcast. Rewind, fast forward. Show pops up on your phone if you miss it. Or if you heard something you liked, you can go back and listen to it again on your terms. And go ahead to do that. Rate, review, subscribe, all of that good stuff as well. The WoodwardSports.com chat thread, jump in there. Just like everybody's been doing here all show as well. Juices Ghost says, "No, Neal, that was Michigan State taxes at work, bud." Hey, then you pay the taxes. Put more money on the contract. You pay the taxes. There were ways in and around that. Also, WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Jason Moose says, "You guys remember when Randy Moss scored a touchdown against Green Bay and then celebrated by wiping his butt on the goalpost?" I do remember that. That was one.
That was a goated moment.
That was a disgusting act.
Yeah. He got fined.
Well, and he did that on one touchdown of the 156 that he scored in his career.
And that was awesome. If I had a wide receiver that scored a touchdown in Green Bay and wiped his butt on the goalpost, I would be laughing.
I would do that. I should have did that when I was in Lambeau the other day.
Yeah.
I was with one of their training members, though, and I wanted to be right about it. You know what I'm saying? That would have been funny, though. I should have done that.
That would have been, hey, let me go get a picture over here to the goalpost.
Straight cash, homie.
Just kind of wrapping up the Jalen Carter discussion. Bronco 81, Neal, will you lose any faith in Holmes if he passes on Carter? No. Why? Based on what? Obviously, he makes the right moves when it comes to the draft. But I will tell you this, though, Bronco. That's where I can't abide, and I can't vibe with the people that are saying, well, trade up and go get Will Anderson. We ain't trading up for anybody, bro. We're not taking draft capital away. And I will back it up to say, what about the Jamison Williams thing? They didn't lose any picks. They moved picks around. That's big. That's not nothing, as they would say in New York. That's not nothing, D-Mac.
No, absolutely. I think that one of the things is that we talked about this yesterday. You can go anywhere you catch your podcast, woodwardsports.com, Spotify, Apple Podcast, whatever it is, and you can go back and listen, because we will reiterate is that being at number 6, you do have options, and the biggest options is the team sitting behind you in Vegas, Atlanta, right?
Tennessee.
So the question is who's available. The one thing that I believe that Carter falls, he drafts him. But I also believe that if Anthony Richardson's there or the quarterback's there, that there's questions from the teams behind you. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear Brad Holmes drops a spot or 2 and still gets the same guy that he wants. That's something that might be in fruition. But at the end of the day, what you're telling me is exactly what I'm saying. He's going to do the due diligence to make the best decision. This is when he cooks. This is when he's at his best, right? You know what I mean saying? It's like it'd be like playing a beer league game and I was in it and you needed a penalty shot. Well, I would hope that maybe I would take it. Not going to take it in the shootout in the NHL until it gets to 12 people, but in your beer league, I'm probably your best option. He's our best option at the draft table and has been, as Terry Foster says, greatest GM in Lions history.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. And Nicholas Duncan, you and I are vibing here, however. It's okay. If Carter gets picked, we got picks next year too, or could trade for more picks. I'm not doing that this year, but we could also pick up Mozzie Smith. That's my ace. That's my ace in my back pocket right there.
But Mozzie Smith, he's got character issues. You can't take him. Why would you take him? He's not nice. Fucking Jesus.
And this is a Sparty guy. It's run to the podium for Mozzie Smith, right?
Oh, yeah.
Run to the podium.
I love Mozzie Smith on this team.
And I was one of the few media people in Detroit when everybody was kind of like, man, that's felony gun charges and stuff like that. That wasn't a Michigan fan. You guys all of a sudden were on board with it. I didn't care because the police let him go. The same way with the Jalen Carter thing. The police charged him with a couple misdemeanors. I didn't care. I don't care about the Mozzie Smith thing either.
Neither do I.
All Spenny knows and all I know is he can maybe be your Jalen Carter light.
He's a freak athlete and he makes plays. Draft him.
Bring him on.
Yeah.
Pick him up.
Here for all of us Brad Holmes guys, William Rhodes, and I haven't seen you in the chat thread. Thanks for joining WoodwardSports.com. Get in. And I remember this, right? Holmes and Campbell both said they don't care about the Pajama Olympics. They care about the tape. Carter's tape is unquestionable.
That is true.
Right? Remember, we came out and said that and stuff like this, which to any of us, that if I got to believe the transparency of what comes out, and I remember Dan Campbell saying that in the interview before the Combine, so that could be true, and that's a good thing for Jalen Carter if you want him on your team.
Yes,
that's a good point.
Jason Moose says, I agree, Spencer, he does have a character issue. So, maybe he's talking about you, Spenmo. Do you have a character issue?
I don't know.
Spencer's character issues.
Mel Kiper loves you.
Yeah, I'm going to start having some character issues. People keep talking like this. I can tell you that.
D-Mac, is it true? Is the analogy true where you need a couple of turds in the room? Do you need a couple of turds in the room? Do you need a couple of dicks?
But it's a non-smelling turd. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
you can't have turds that stink up the room. That influence you can have turds as long as they fall in line. You're gonna have turds in there that have no influence on the rest of the locker room, right? But the unscrupulous character, you can have a couple of those guys because it's performance, and then it's insulation. There's a couple unscrupulous guys that I've played with over the years, right? But their play super exceeds any questionability about it. Now, that's a question of scruples, right? What I may deem morally acceptable, and you may not, but that's the human condition. Has nothing to do. As long as you're all in, as long as that person, right, that in the locker room is about, when it comes down to it, about the guys on his right and his left. He can be as selfish as he wants, but there's a difference being team selfish. You can insulate those guys. But again, if they don't work and they become a problem, then that's usually when you get rid of them.
And there you have it.
But there's a fine line.
when he steps on that ice, is he going to go all out for you, and is he going to make plays?
Right.
That's it. That's all.
That's why, and that's something you see it all. You see it all along. What's the most overlooked? And I'm right in the middle of. What's the most overlooked is some sort of addiction, or something like this. As long as your performance doesn't help, it'll lead up. You'll be able to take it away. You know what I'm saying? It's like people turn their backs and to whatever the problem is, but. There's a difference between also too, Neal, is like having an issue, being able to take care of it, right? Like some people do, or a character flaw, but it's a one-time mistake. We've all made mistakes, right? Is this a continuational thing? Is this something? And the biggest thing that you're looking at, if I bring this person into the locker room, does it screw up what I've built in my locker room, or does it go against the the leadership that I've put in place?
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Andrew George Bradshaw says, so is the Woodward Sports bracket closed? It is, Andrew. I gave you the opportunity, man. It closed at noon, my friend. I'm sorry. It's go time. We're locked. We're loaded now. I have an NFL question that relates to the brackets when we come back, after we talk to you about Seafood Fest at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. They have all the Lent favorites like the shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir fry, and the new fish sandwich. And don't forget the staple of it all, the all-you-can-eat fish fry buffet on Friday nights. Hey, man, you can understand why someone will put on some pounds around the Lent time, right, Spenmo?
Oh, yeah.
Fish fry Friday night? Mm-hmm. No one's above it. Little tartar sauce for your fries, too? Let's do it, because it's all out there for you at Seafood Fest at Big Boy. Get to your local Big Boy today.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. Baby, talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Neal Ruhl here for Chili Peppers Tanning, where you find the cleanest salons in the D with spotless, sanitized rooms and trained and certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club. Get all the best deals. They'll beat the competitors' prices by at least $5. You can pick up the Australian Gold, Designer Skin, Cal Tan, and Spencer Raxter's favorite, the Swedish Beauty Lotions.
Oh, yeah.
Go to ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Find out which one of the 27 locations work best for you. Chili Peppers Tanning. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. They are your vitamin D headquarters. It's Chili Peppers Tanning, y'all.
Chili Peppers Tan.
Bam, bam.
Yay. Back at it. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter with you. And, it is March. It's March Madness. It officially starts, regardless of what they tell you with those play-in games, the cash grab that is the first four in Dayton to give TV networks more inventory. But I digress. That's not what it is. Where they always send Mountain West teams, by the way. Where they did get crushed by Arizona State yesterday. Nevada did.
Hey, playing a Power 5, that's all I got to say. No sympathy for the mid-majors.
At least they stayed within 30 of Arizona State, though, which a Power 5 team did not do local.
That was a bad loss. Bad day in my life. Bad day for Hunter Dickinson, that's for sure.
Great day for Spencer.
Yep. Any day. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen to Hunter Dickinson to where you would actually feel sorry for him?
Physical injury.
Okay, fair enough.
What did you say?
Physical injury.
Spenny, Are you sure?
Spenny, I believe you, but I think it had to be career-ending.
I learned that in journalism.
I think it's career-ending injury.
I learned that in journalism school, Sam Flannel. I knew there was more there.
Oh yeah.
A follow-up question was a necessity.
No, I'm never excited to see anybody get injured. I never want to see anybody get injured, but I want to see him fail.
You want to see him fail on his own?
Yes, on his
You
own.
want to see him have no excuses for his failures.
So you're saying Hunter Dickinson says it all in his name?
Yes.
Okay. There it is.
Chuck Brewer
Bad
says,
no
Neal,
lies.
maybe if Hunter had shown up that day in Arizona, maybe they would have made the tournament.
Oh!
I was told he was going to show up. By Hunter Dickinson himself.
He said
They were going
they'd
to show
win
up and
by
they were going to
30.
win by 30.
Yeah.
See, that was a bad look for Hunter Dickinson, but this is where I've always parted ways with Chuck Brewer. This idea that Hunter Dickinson didn't have a good year and didn't close the season out while averaging 26 and 12 on 60% shooting in the last 4 games, it was all his fault. Get out of here with that. Hunter Dickinson had some pitfalls.
It's all Joey Baker's fault, right?
Hey, if Joey Baker would have done what he did in that goddamn NIT game one time in the regular season, maybe. That's who your ire should be focused at. Guys like Joey Baker, guys like Terrence Williams, guys like that. Not Hunter Dickinson. He had his pitfalls. I will never deny that, but he showed up.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread, Jack Harrington says Hunter Dickinson is a bozo.
Yeah, there's the first bozo of the day.
So if you're new to the show, if you drop a bozo in
Bozo.
there, your chances go up exponentially that your comment gets read. But I had a question that
Need to get a clown thing.
Yeah. I did have a question though about March Madness and the NCAA tournament, which is a holy land in the sports calendar to me, and I would say on par with the Super Bowl to me as I was growing up. I especially in my early 20s when you have time to kill, would devote open to close at some of the local establishments. All for all the games. All the games. And I remember when Buffalo Wild Wings came out, when they came out with the satellite package, where you could, that crappy game that's in Idaho at 5 o'clock that you could never see?
Right.
When that game got televised, that was pure electricity.
Oh, yeah.
And so for me, this was always a holy day when the NCAA tournament starts. And I just don't feel that juice anymore. And the reason I think so, I'm going to pose a question to all of you guys out here. Why? Why is the tournament? I do think the tournament's kind of jumped the shark a little bit. And I'm a college basketball guy. I work in college basketball. It's become so formulaic. And Sam Flannel, you can attest to this. I can kind of lay out that field for you, at least conference-wise, how it's going to set up before it even happens.
I mean, that's.
Can I ask one question to
Yes.
both of you guys as a non-basketball guy? Right? When I look at the college football and I look at the college basketball, could it have to do with the one and dones or the fact that the turnover to college to pro? What I'm saying is your investment in these schools or the players in the past, it seemed like even I knew, the Corliss Williamsons in Arkansas. Like there's more. There are great players around, but there's something about not being covered or they're not there for a duration. Does that have anything to do with it, or because there's the turnover, or because you expect certain teams to win each year, that you just. It's going to come down to, even though it's the same thing in college football, where it comes down to Georgias, the Alabamas, and the same thing. It's in college basketball. There's a miss there, and it's a connection to me to the players or knowing who's involved, like it was in the past. And maybe around here too, it's because there's no expectations on state, and Michigan's not in the tournament.
And that's fair, like locally the juice. But Sam Flannel, kind of your response to what I said, where I think it's become too formulaic.
I think that's part of it. I also, for me at least, I don't like the fact that if you lose one game, you're just out. And some of these Cinderellas like St. Peter's or George Mason or, God forbid, Loyal Chicago, who took that ass whooping to Michigan, by the way, in the Final Four. Bye-bye, Sister Jean. Teams like that.
Man.
That got annoying as hell, and you know that. Teams like that. Nobody actually wants to see them play in the Final Four or the Elite Eight.
Killing a nun.
Hey, it's cute in the beginning, but I don't like that. And also, I know this may sound a little bit overblown, but there's no real villains in this year's tournament. Maybe Brandon Miller, but you look
Duke.
But Duke, this isn't the same Duke as like the J.J. Redick led Duke.
Yeah, but there's still America wins when Duke loses. That's always true.
But it's not the same as like when Christian Laettner and Bobby
they're
Hurley
not
were
a
there.
threat. I see what you're saying.
J.J. Redick was there, and like guys like Greg Paulus, for example. I hated that guy. Like there was always that sort of villain Duke
There would have
team.
been a villain if Michigan would have made it for me.
Oh yeah, okay. State is my villain this year. That's
Okay.
fine. I can't. If they make the Final Four, I will have.
Then don't worry, they're not going.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. That's BS, Neal. My comments get ignored by you bozos every time. Well, I'm sorry I missed it, Grit. My apologies. David Pauler says, bozo Michigan fans are all of a sudden apathetic to March Madness, LOL. Cope and go Kansas State. I see you, David. I'm with you on the Kansas State. The road lines up nicely for Kansas State. They can do some things.
I can't believe Flannel just legend killed
Was
a
Sam
nun.
just clowning Sister Jean?
Yeah.
A nun.
No, but she's like 108.
Is she a nun?
Yeah, she's a nun.
Yeah, oh yeah. She's
Yeah, you
a
got to
nun.
be, if your first
She
name
was
is Sister,
getting,
you're
like,
a nun.
Post-game interviews after the game. Like, that's the thing. She was, like, more of the mascot of the team than... She was more well-known than the actual players.
I know Sister Jean as a pair opposed to who plays.
Yeah.
Somebody brought up Scoot and Want to Bang Your Mom don't play in NCAA.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Smith.
So
That's a good
when
point.
the guys that we're looking at to go on the top of the draft, it might be a talent thing. I think you agree with, yes,
That's
everybody
part-
wants
that's
to
part of
see
it.
Duke, but even at that point, Duke's not Duke anymore.
You want to know what the overriding thing is? And yes, the talent hurts, but the big draw too, right? Like if you're a fan of the school, you're a fan of the jersey. The players change and everything like that, but you still love the jersey. Here's the thing. The NFL is killing the NCAA tournament. The NFL is.
Murdering it.
The league new year starts right when the NCAA tournament starts. People, and I even got caught up in this, where you're waiting for the next move by your team. Whoever your team is, you're waiting. It's electric. It's pure electricity, and the cycle never stops.
Here's the thing, right? Think about it. And I mentioned this the other day. Aaron Rodgers is the new Kardashians. To that point, right? To that point that everybody's more dialed into what Aaron Rodgers was going to do than even like, oh, the basketball's starting, oh, the playing games, oh, all this. There's some... What's the loss as a fan, Neal, over the years, right? You were all dialed in before, but you were dialed in. You knew all these teams from everywhere else, and you knew the Jimmy Chitwood from, Indiana, and you knew all these different guys from the WAC that you're looking to watch play. The Arizonas, here comes Gonzaga, are they going to Gonzaga, all this. Where's it gone? Why is it lost? Is it because all our attention is to football?
Yes, I think that's the biggest
I think
factor.
you're absolutely right.
I think that is the biggest factor.
But here's the thing. Isn't football exciting right now?
Yes.
Like the free agency period and it's exciting. You know why, Neal? Because our team's actually doing things, right? Maybe it's because in the past with the Detroit Lions, I'm getting to it. I think I figured it out. Because now actually we have a legitimate NFL team that we have to pay attention to the offseason to what they do and what goes on around it because it affects. And then now that our teams aren't that good, right, Big Ten, whatever like that, it's the perfect flip, especially around here, right? I'm more concerned, dude. The Lions and what they're doing is, I'm way more concerned with what's going on, who they're signing, the Jalen Carter stuff than I am about any of the Michigan basketball teams, let alone anyone nationally.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Make sure you jump in there and get your thoughts out there. Brandon Ketz says that's a bad take. Once the tournament starts, no one cares about the offseason in the NFL. Let me ask you a question, Brandon.
You're so wrong.
If the Aaron Rodgers trade breaks today, what's a bigger story? The first round of the NCAA tournament or the Aaron Rodgers thing? It's not close.
Is it fair to say that the only reason the NCAA would matter is because the NFL stepped off the gas and let them? Right? They allowed them to take the spotlight. The NFL wants a spotlight. They'll take it right back. And you guys will all be in just like the rest of us.
Philip C. says the NCAA is killing itself. And I know that that's a narrative that a lot of people throw around out there. It's just... And look, everyone says, did they fumble the ball with the name, image, and likeness thing? Probably, but what were they supposed to do? That's a free market thing. How are you going to legislate that? What are you going to do? Does the name, image, and likeness, does that take away some of the luster to it? People's interest in college football hasn't gone down at all.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with me. I think maybe there's a little bit of credence to the whole Scoot Henderson and Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
But even people are talking like everyone's just going to go to the G League. But even look at last year, Jabari Smith, Paolo Banchero, Chet Holmgren, Jaden Ivey, Keegan Murray, Benedict Mathurin, all 6 of the top 6 picks played in the tournament. And even that was exciting. And this year you don't even really get that as much, besides for maybe Brandon Miller.
Tell them about Swiss Insurance, Sam Flannel.
Absolutely. Be sure to check with Swiss Insurance this week for a commercial insurance review. Swiss can help make sure you have the proper coverage. Swiss Insurance, give us a shot and you won't be disappointed. Email them at mark@swissins.com. That is mark@swissins.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter here with you, all of you, in the woodwardsports.com chat thread as well. We're talking college basketball, the NCAA March Madness, and I think the NFL is decimating March Madness. And this used to be my day. Like, I love the Super Bowl, but pound for pound, like total entertainment value, the NCAA tournament has been where it's at. By the way, we do have our first update of NCAA tournament scores. Number 9 seed West Virginia leads number 8 seed Maryland out of the Big Ten 11-4 with 14:46 to play. 4 points for Maryland in the first 6 minutes and change of the game.
Damn, I got Maryland winning that game. They better get it back together.
It's over. The bracket's over. Forget it. Your bracket's washed. It's done. Except for those of you that knew better than to pick a Big Ten team.
Over West Virginia?
I got West Virginia.
No.
I think I do too. How far you got Purdue going, Neal?
I got Memphis beating them.
Is that the first round?
Second round.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it.
Zach Edey.
Their guard play sucks.
The guard plays weak, and let Zach Edey go against a couple of dudes from Memphis.
Yeah.
They don't care that he's 7'4" or however tall he is. They don't care.
They're gonna dunk all over him.
He won't even be back down the floor by the time they're dunking the basketball. So, tipping off in about 13 minutes, Virginia, the 4 seed, takes on the 13 seed Furman.
Wait, you got Furman winning that one?
No. Although, you know what's weird? You know what's weird, though? Virginia's a 5.5-point favorite. That doesn't smell right.
It's the devil's number,
Yep.
as they say.
That doesn't smell right, man.
Whew.
It really,
I thought
really doesn't.
666 was the devil's number.
Well, the devil's line, 5.5.
Really?
That's just what I've heard.
Breaking Red Wings news as well. Ben Sherratt out for the game against the Avalanche due to an upper body issue. So there's that.
Give another guy an opportunity. Maybe we'll get see somebody get called up and get some ice time from the minors.
Eugene F. says, I have never even watched an NCAA tournament game. It's all NFL for me. Well, Eugene, it wasn't like that 10 years ago with you. There's no way. Or 5 years ago even. This NFL news cycle is absurd. And look, I know, Brandon, that people fill out brackets. Like, everyone's still filling out the brackets and stuff like that. That's because that's gambling. But I would still say, if the Aaron Rodgers thing breaks, that's bigger than anything the NCAA tournament can do. A 16 could beat a 1 today. Purdue could lose, and that would pale in comparison to the Aaron Rodgers trade.
100%.
Like, that's just where it is.
Reality.
How did this happen with the NFL?
Because it's 24 hours. It's all day, every day, because of behind the scenes, because of getting to know like a little bit more and getting invested, because of all the consumption of it. That's how we're trained. It's the mega power. It's got all the money. It's got all the panache and stuff like this. And plus, right, look at everything in the media-wise. I mean, it's not like if the media changed and did everything college basketball, right? It's the NFL allowing. That's the one thing we have to understand. It's the NFL's world of sports, and when they allow the rest of the sports to participate, it's when they don't want to, right? When they don't want to. They know how to get the interest, like you said. They know the interest ain't putting a team here, a football team here, or whatever like that. It's something personal. It's an Aaron Rodgers. It's behind the scenes. It's giving people something that they didn't think they'd get. Before talking to this guy and watching it play out. Half of us can't believe how it plays out. Is this reality? Is this real life? But it obviously is, and it only gets better. And you look at the story. Look at the drama. I mentioned it. Go back and check it out, where I said this is another chapter to the book. Now we take it to New York. This is Aaron Rodgers. It's like Harry Potter, for Christ's sake. I mean, there's another chapter. How does it go from here?
So it's us.
Because
so it's us. Like, we've changed.
It's always us. People, it's always you. If you don't support something or back it up or watch it, then it doesn't exist. It's the old tree falling in the forest. Nobody's around, doesn't make a sound. If you're not paying attention, we're not talking about it, everything else. I know for a fact, I know what it's going to bring up. Look, we start talking college basketball, you lose 150 viewers.
Right away.
The minute we talk, let's talk football again and whatever people want to talk football.
And I'm even talking about football associated with it. Like, it's just
saying
this is what the people, this is what you all want. You want football 24/7, don't you? You want Woodward Sports Football Network. D-Mac, we talk hockey, what happens?
I get mad because people are stupid, and I just say hashtag why is it playing 1919 and whatever else. Well, that's that's the hence is we don't unless it's something imperative for a few minutes because you're going to lose people. That's why we got Chop and Puck 1 p.m. On Saturday afternoon. Myself and Mike Gentry, so we can do some stuff behind hockey.
I think this is a lot of it too locally. RJ Graham says it's because the Lions are so close. And we are invested in our team, so we don't care for basketball this year until the Lions win a Super Bowl. And that is part of it, right? Because the Michigan fans have been sent scurrying.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are gone. Except for Sam Flannel, who locks into the NIT.
Well, I mean, it's not even just that. It's that the Lions are so close at the same closer than they've been in a long time. I mean, 2014, obviously. But as an organization, you feel like they're running things right and are here to stay. And Michigan just happens to be out of the tournament, and Michigan State is having a down year at the same time. So there's really not a whole lot of interest, I think, from us locally. Nationally, it's probably about the same because everybody is making waves in free agency, and everybody, all you fans, you want your team to win a Super Bowl more than anything. I know it's true.
And you know what? This is a mistake by me because I see a lot of people talking about Scoot Henderson and Victor Wembanyama, and I always thought that the people root for the jersey, right? Like the Go Blue. Like that's all you guys want to do is comment Go Blue on every Michigan social media post. But I undervalued that because I thought that people would just continue to root for the jersey. But I see the way the NBA's doing it too. I get an email blast from the NBA every time Victor Wembanyama's game is going to be streamed on the NBA network. Like it's a mania that's going on with him. And this backs up to my point. You guys know where I am with that. And I've said this forever. Here's another thing that's killed March Madness and what's propelled the NFL to a millionth degree. Which is why when do people want to talk hockey, D-Mac? The trade deadline.
Well,
people couldn't get enough. Because we love the transaction more than we like the real actual action. We do.
Foster.
If there was a TV station that showed games and a TV station that showed trades, which one do you think people would watch more?
If they weren't fans of the sport, specifically the trade channel. Because if there was a basketball one of that, I would watch that. I don't really watch basketball, right? You know what I'm saying? But I'd want to keep up to it. I have them both going on. transactions, interaction. This guy, like there's so much. We want so much information. How about even if there was something when you're watching the game and you know how much this guy's making, or you know how much, you know what I'm saying? Like when people dive into like a little bit more, but information. People want information.
Why don't we like the games anymore? Why? Is it because of
in a
fantasy
certain
sports?
thing.
Microwave
It's a live
generation.
bet.
What's
all
that?
other stuff.
Microwave generation. You just want everything right there. Sitting down watching a game takes too long.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Like why don't we like games anymore? Like that's the point of all this. Like the trade deadline stuff, the NFL free agency, it's all for the games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that's the biggest issue and why that's killing the NCAA tournament. I think because of the NFL, because we're a transactional society now, more than games. That's it.
Transactional society. You think gambling has something to do with it too?
I think gambling is helping the games. I think that's one of the pushbacks that the games have is that you're able to bet on them. But you know what? I still think people would rather sit there.
To that argument, you're not locked into one team as much as you're locked into all the teams, right? You don't care, and then how many live betting and whatever like that. You just care what the number is and watching as it goes on.
It's almost like a math problem. You know what I'm saying?
Why does it always come back to math class? Math. Gosh darn it, that sucks.
NCAA tournament score update. They are at the under 12 in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Maryland still has 4 points. They trail West Virginia 13-4. So that game's pretty much on brand. Yeah, on brand as we thought. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Brandon Katz. You guys know I'm going to read this one. Matt Painter is the most underrated coach at Purdue in the Big Ten by far. He always has top teams and almost never has top NBA talent. Really? So you wouldn't say he had top NBA talent when he had the number 5 pick in the draft last year and Zach Edey, and they lost to St. Peter's because Purdue always Purdue's in this thing. Is that true, Brandon? Come on, Purdue.
At least Purdue carries over, and Purdue's in all sports.
Purdue stinks. They stink in basketball. They stink in football. They stink. I always hear about them, but I never see them. They never do any. Show me the last big Purdue win ever in anything. In anything. Give me a memorable Purdue win. Come on. You're Big Ten guys, both of you guys.
Michigan State, Miles Bridges hit a 3 to beat Purdue. That was awesome.
No, that's weird.
Yeah.
Purdue losing. That's how the story ends. You guys are all Big Ten fans. Give me something Purdue's ever done.
No, I can't. I actually, to some extent, though, get what Brandon is saying, that Matt Painter is one of the better coaches in the Big Ten, but and sometimes they don't have the most talent, but they've never really done anything nationally. I mean, we talk about all these Big Ten schools that have been to national championships in this century. Purdue hasn't done it. Illinois' done it. Wisconsin's done it. State has done it. Michigan's done it. Ohio State's done it. Purdue, I think the farthest they've gotten is an Elite 8. I don't even know if they've gotten an Elite 8. I'm pretty sure they have.
You don't know.
I don't know.
And stop with the Edey's not a top NBA player. He's a first-team All-American. That's not enough talent to win. Like, come on, man. Had a first-team All-American with the number 5 pick in the draft. Never wins. Loses to St. Peter's. Purdue does it all the time. They had a number 1 overall pick with Glenn Big Dog Robinson, right?
Yeah.
They almost lost to a 16 seed that year with him. They stink. They stink, and we'll see. You'll see. You'll all see.
So I shouldn't have picked Purdue to win it? So picking Purdue to win the championship
Did
was
you
bad?
really?
No.
Okay.
Come
I was
on,
going to D-Mac.
You brought me up better than that, bro.
D-Mac, come on, man.
You brought me up better than that.
I
just wanted to act like Sam Flannel for a minute.
I actually defended Purdue last year going into the tournament, but when you lose to St. Peter's, my mortal enemy...
Why are they your mortal enemy?
Because they do what all Cinderella teams do. They have a bunch of scrubs. They get a guy who has a mustache and Doug Eddard, and all of a sudden he becomes a national darling even though he can't play. You know how I know he can't play? Because he transferred to Bryant after the season. Doug Eddard blows.
Only Sam Flannel can hate Cinderellas.
I know.
You're doing yard work if they're in the Final Four. You're not watching the game. You're doing yard work. You'd rather see the Dukes and all of them. You know you would. The North Carolinas, the Kentuckys, the Kansases. It's true. It's true.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. People pleaser. Purdue has a reasonable online master's program. That's fair.
Right.
Very fine online master's
It's
program.
true.
That is very fair. Pete Smith says, being one of the best in the conference that hasn't won a title in basketball in 23 Jesus' birthdays.
Yeah, that's a good point.
When y'all going to win one again?
Hopefully next year.
No.
Will Juwan take you to the promised land?
No, absolutely not.
All right.
Look at their recruiting class compared to State's. It's embarrassing.
Well, hey, Planet Fitness is a promised land of gyms. I was there again this morning running on the treadmill. Treadmill is always open because they have tons of equipment at Planet Fitness. You never have to wait for anything. $10 a month, access to your home club. That's it. That's all. You want all the perks? You want to be a big baller, shot caller? Get the black card. Use of all the amenities. You can bring a guest anytime you want. Access to over 2,000 Planet Fitnesses around the world as well. Guys, don't go to these gyms that are charging you $50, $60, $70 a month because they have a rock wall in there. Like, come on, guys. Planet Fitness has everything you need. Trust me. Been there a very, very long time. Couldn't be happier. We'll probably never leave Planet Fitness because it serves the purpose, guys. It is the best gym in the gym game today. You want to join? You'll pass a couple on the way home. Pull in the parking lot. Join there. Jump on that computer. Go to planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, Darren McCarty.
Where your fitness is essential.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Back at it, coming down the stretch, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter, all of you, woodwardsports.com chat thread. Remember to subscribe to the podcast as well, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Podcast, Spotify, iTunes, Spreaker. You can rate it, you can review it, subscribe, latest episodes. Go right to your phone. You can rewind, fast forward, all of that stuff as well. And, we were just wrapping up the discussion about, why is there no juice for the NCAA tournament this year? And I contend it's because of NFL free agency and the NFL League New Year, and you had to be salary cap compliant yesterday. It just overshadowed everything. The Aaron Rodgers drama continues to play out. It's what it is. The Big Ten's mid. They haven't won the NCAA tournament in going on 2.5 decades. There was standard definition television the last time they won. Let that sink in.
And by the way, the furthest Purdue has made it under Matt Painter is the Elite Eight one time. I looked that up, and I think 17 elite. Seasons. Yeah,
in 17 years.
Yeah, Matt Painter's been there a long time. I mean, he succeeded Gene Cady. Speaking of blast from the past.
Yeah, you're right, Brandon. Way underrated coach. Way underrated.
Oh, he's a very fine coach.
Very fine local basketball
coach. Very
coach.
Fine regular season coach.
Rack says, how are you one of the top teams? You have only 2 Big Ten titles in your school's history. So, there's that. But, whatever. We move on. NFL free agency. That's what everybody wants, right? That's what we were told. Winners and losers, I guess. I don't want to necessarily tag a line with that. Anything move the needle for you? Anybody shocked by anything that they saw or thought, damn, that was a good play? You got anything on that, Spenmo?
I think the Bears, bringing in all those guys on defense was pretty good. It's a pretty good start to rebuilding their team. And Houston made some good signings. I wouldn't be surprised if Houston won a couple games next year.
What did we say about Houston? If I were a coach, D-Mac, what did I say?
If they're the coach, they're in a position to get better quickly because of what they have. I think for me, it's the fact that, okay, we knew Chicago had the money. We knew that they were going to do something, but what would they do with it? And the fact is that it shows me that they're capable. They're moving around. They're doing things to improve their team. I like what we did. I like the fact that for the Detroit Lions organization, it seems that there's a game plan that they stuck to. You know, they didn't overpay for an old dude. They got younger guys. You know, a guy who's not yet 26 and David Montgomery and same age for a cornerback. You got a guy who's coming back on a prove-it deal that has proven before, and Manuel Mosley that it can play in this league. Like, he brings that veteran presence. You also got Tracy Walker coming back, and just what they've done. You know, when you look at what's the worst move the Lions made, if you're going to say people are going to get all up in arms about re-signing Anzalone, but that's not it, because he's their guy and the perfect guy that they're going to have to insulate around. So looking around the league, but the biggest thing, Neal, and I'm guilty of it, Aaron Rodgers. The fact that the Packers, the fact that he didn't retire, the fact that they're trying to figure out compensation, the fact that he went into the Jets and said, well, sign my boy Lazard. They signed Alan Lazard out of Green Bay. Like, we've seen it coming. I just think that it's either going to be, I don't think it's going to work, but if it does, it's going to be great TV, whether it does or it doesn't, right? Because of that market, because of those questions. We're going to be sitting up here and because we're all waiting, Neal, for that press conference with Aaron Rodgers where somebody asks him the hard questions.
I know. I can't wait for that.
You know, with that, but like you said, I'm going to grade this free agency by my Detroit Lions as a B+. They made themselves better, and I saw the direction. So that's where I'm going to look at it.
What stood out to you, Sam Flannel?
I've got one that is very kind of near and dear to me personally. I think it's kind of interesting how Patrick Mahomes lost Orlando Brown and Joe Burrow gained Orlando Brown.
You had mine.
Yeah.
That was mine. I think that was the biggest signing.
Which one?
Of all of them. Orlando Brown going to Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because every time Joe Burrow gets into the playoffs, his sort of the knock is whether it's poor offensive linemen or this year more injuries, they can't protect him. I mean, you saw that against Kansas City. Guys like Karlaftis and Chris Jones and Frank Clark were just all over him all game long. And Orlando Brown, he's proven to be one of the best tackles in all of the NFL, and he was pivotal to Patrick Mahomes having more time to throw. Because, I mean, why did the Chiefs lose that Super Bowl in 2020? Because Patrick Mahomes had to run for his life. You draft a guy like Creed Humphrey and you bring in Orlando Brown, all of a sudden that's solved. And maybe Cincinnati's offensive line issues now will be, I wouldn't say solved, but greatly upgraded. And now I think it's kind of the time where Joe Burrow has to kind of show us a little bit more. I kind of lamented about how...
Wait a minute. You're not going to ask questions of Joe Burrow, are you?
That's what I've always lamented. I mean, the fact that Joe Burrow threw 2 interceptions in that AFC Championship game, including one of them with a chance to take the lead, and in his next chance to take the lead, they punted. But Joe Burrow's kind of turned into that golden child.
So by show us a little more, you mean win a Super Bowl?
At some point, you've got to demand it. Because I got so tired of Joe Burrow getting compared to Patrick Mahomes while throwing for 9 touchdown passes in 7 games. Now you get you give him your left tackle. You still have Jamar Chase. You still have T. Higgins. This is a Super Bowl roster. So Joe Burrow, I think he has to have those expectations to get there and win it.
Well, here's the clip, Neal. DJ Chark to the Bills.
That's done. Have we got that? I know that Twitter is Twitter's spinning right now, so I know that they're struggling. Did we get confirmation on that? We're waiting to hear the confirmation on that. So that is the word. That is the word on the street. We'll work to confirm that. DJ Chark, possibly to the Bills. So we will see.
Well, that'll give us some conversation if that's the case. What's the next move for the Lions? And does that make that number 18? Which one of you took Quentin Johnson in 18th yesterday? There he is over there in the booth, right, Spenny?
Yeah.
You lose Chark, and that was a conversation that we had. Maybe it opens that up. So something that we can definitely talk about tomorrow. Neal, just so you know.
Yes, sir.
In this last, as we go to the last break, but the last 10 minutes, there's going to be a lot more breaking news when we leave. Prepare for that.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Flannel will be representing on the final word, the bottom line. So he will get to lather in it, and Spenny will keep you up to date on the Woodward heavyweights with Easy and stuff like that. So stick around like we all do, and you'll find out. But before we go to break, today's 3/16, guys. Spenny, give me my camera. Today's 3/16. So I wouldn't be remiss, and thank you, Aaron, for reminding me to rake to all my wrestling fans out there. Give me a hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Steve Wise is for everybody. Happy 3/16 day. Stone Cold's my guy. Had to do that.
Tell them about Alta, too, D-Mac. You got to do that, too.
You know what? 3/16 matters. Stone Cold matters. Alta, uptime, it matters too. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. You got a bog project coming up. Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844. Go to Alta. That's 844. Go to Alta. Hell yeah, go to Alta.
You're about to be shell-shocked. The catch of the day is in. Big Boy Seafood Fest is officially back. Join us for some of your favorites like our popcorn shrimp and pike perch platters and our classic fish and chips. This year, we've reeled in some fresh catches like our shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir fry, and our fish sandwich. And especially, don't forget about our all-you-can-eat Friday night fish fry buffet. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I've lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
The Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling pin game called Foaling. Multiple different ways you can play. They've got $12 open unlimited play and private lane reservation for $120. If you get thirsty, they got a $2 mystery beer vending machine and multiple fully loaded bars for you to choose from. So make sure you go check them out in Hamtramck or visit them online at foalingwarehouse.com.
Final segment of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter here with you. And, taking a spin around Twitter just to see what's going on. No reports of DJ Chark at this time. You know what's wild, though? Like, when you do this and you jump on Twitter and you go to see, what are the big boys out there saying?
Yeah, you go to Rap Sheet, you go to Schefter.
Yeah, you go to the heavyweights, with all due respect. With all due respect, Spenny. You go to the heavyweights of the Twitter industry, not of Woodward Sports.
Facts.
But with that being said, it's wild to see all the different fans clamoring for DJ Chark. Panther fans, Browns fans, Chiefs fans as well. Sam Flannel.
I mean, the thing about DJ Chark is when he was on the field, he showed out, and he looks like your prototypical wide receiver, and you saw sort of the deep threat that he was able to provide for Jared Goff. So I can see why teams would be so interested in him, because his biggest concern is health, not performance, not sort of size and speed and ability.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Now, this is not necessary, Kevin Bell. Spenny was crying no one was a subscriber to the heavyweight, so I subbed last show. LMFAO. Good sales, Spenny. Hey.
I just do what I'm told.
Hey, mission accomplished.
Yeah. I do what the bosses tell me to do.
Sometimes you got to beg for stuff. Sometimes you just got to ask for it. Either way, job done, Spenny.
Good
on you.
Thank you.
Mission accomplished,
5-star review.
Mission accomplished.
Well, absolutely, man. Do it.
WoodwardSports.com.
Hey. But yeah, real quick, get you updated as well. Maryland has come back to take the lead on West Virginia. They're up 22-21. A big 16-5 run by the Maryland Terps. You can't get by the Big Ten that easy, baby.
Hey, if you want to be super technical, the last Big Ten team to technically win a national championship was Maryland. Won it in 2002 when they were a part of the ACC. Remember old Juan Dixon? Remember that guy?
Come to find out, that was was it back-to-back titles for the Big Ten? 2 and 3 years? That was 2 and 3 years,
I guess,
right?
Yeah, I guess if we want to go by that.
So that changes the narrative. What do you think about that now, Pete Smith? That was a Big Ten dynasty, D-Mac.
It was.
You had Michigan State, then you had Maryland.
Remember who Maryland beat for the national championship? Indiana. Indiana, another team that has been a bridesmaid in this century so many times.
Coached by Mike Davis, head coach of Detroit Mercy.
Mike Davis, that's
for now. Who left there and took UAB to the NCAA tournament.
That's right. Didn't Mike Davis, was he right after Bobby Knight? I think he was, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So there is that going on. Virginia up 12-7 on Furman as well. Just something didn't smell right about that line. I know you just want to snap at it and say, you got to take Virginia in that. But something didn't smell right about that line. Hey, did Tom Mazawey talk about Baker Mayfield yesterday? Can we confirm?
I didn't see, but I would bet my life on it.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised.
It's finally his good situation. Every other step, Carolina, Cleveland, Los Angeles, all not his fault. None of it. That's Tom Mazawey.
Sam, can you do us a favor while you're on the bottom final word, bottom line, whatever? Will you find out about our Milt Plum?
Oh,
Maybe
that's
that
right.
fact that you're on the show
That's
again.
right.
Maybe we can get an update to Milt Plum. I know we brought it to Maz one day, and then have you got any future? Have you had Milt Plum? Did anybody tell you about trying to get a hold of him? Have you had confirmation or?
I have
denial?
not.
Has he?
Maz said that he was going to take that on his shoulders to try to make that happen.
Have you heard anything since Maz took it on his shoulders?
I have not.
Right. So, Sam, I'm asking you, as you're double dipping today, will you please ask Tom Mazawey if we can get an update, if we can get Mr. Plumman?
Oh, 100%.
Just want to bring it to the people.
Mike G says Milt is old. Now he's Milt Prune. So, hey.
We want to get him actually on.
But he's regular.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
But as long as you're regular, that is all that matters. And for those of you that don't know, I forget how we even started talking about Milt Plum.
Oh, it was before him.
Who led the NFL in passing touchdowns, right? 1962?
Mm-hmm. It was with the Browns.
But with the Browns.
Spending my Milt. Look at my Plum form. It's pretty good. Stay good. Okay, we get it in the camera.
It is.
There it is.
There it is.
And he did wear
he
wore the single bar helmet as well. So we are efforting to get Milt Plum. See if he's, a Lions fan at all, and how electric it was being quarterback for the Detroit Lions franchise back then, and all of that as well. You got anything else, D-Mac?
No. Done. Spent.
Ready for a Friday?
Ready for a Friday. Sure, sounds good. Yeah, I don't even know. One of those days.
You going to watch the NCAA tournament when you get home?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, I can't say I won't pass through scores and stuff like this, but no interest. It's 316 day. We got some Steve Austin highlights. You got to go watch the speech. Got to go watch the Royal Rumble. You got to give Stone Cold his props today. Way too much good wrestling to catch up on.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Todd Sain says Maz too busy trying to sign any quarterback that's not on the Lions roster right now. I think that is pretty much on par. We'll close it with this. Mike G. Make us proud, Sam Flannel, with Maz and the Maz Show.
I will do a very fine show. At least try my best to.
Are you more nervous for this or your wedding day?
Well, definitely the final word. I've been on it before.
What's a bigger moment in your life?
Yeah,
getting married or being on the final word?
Getting married, but it's a lot closer than you think.
Who are you doing it with, Braylon or Ryan?
Braylon.
Okay.
Is this the biggest thing to ever happen in your media career?
Oh, 100%. 1,000%. Not even close.
Did you think this day would come the last time you were on the final word and didn't get the call back? Did self-doubt ever start to creep in?
Oh, self-doubt absolutely started to creep in. It was like, am I missing reps? Are my takes getting worse or something? Do they not want me? I must be like those MLB players who get sent down and go on a slump. But now I realized I'm back.
Mike K wants to know, Maz and Sam, is there any thought of renaming the show to Bad Takes Incorporated?
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I will let you know. You asked me, will I be watching the NCAA? No, but I will tune in to the bottom line just to see this shenanigans.
No pressure.
Let's just see how this dynamic works out. And to hold accountability to see if he brings up no plum.
IT Hip says, I'm going to my first spring training game at Joker Marchant Stadium tomorrow. Well, IT Hips, I'll be going to my first spring training game at Comerica Park all season long. So whatever the first one I go to is, that'll be my first spring training game too. So with all that being said, enjoy the basketball today, everybody, but keeping an eye on NFL news as well. For D-Mac, for Sam Flannel, for Spencer Raxter, my name's Neal Ruhl.
Cold day, deuces.
Thanks for tapping into Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.